So it's been a while. A little over a month. I apologize, but I'm gonna get straight to the point. My laptop that I had for a little over 5 years, I believe, finally crashed, died, kaput in the ground. May it rest in peace. It was very sad. It was quite sad. I was sad. But I moved on, obviously. I went and, you know, had to buy a new laptop. Well, here's the thing, laptops are expensive, so had to save up money for a paycheck or two, and finally got one. And if you see this video now, it's because I finally have that laptop up and running and got all the editing software and all the stuff I needed. Thank goodness, finally. But moving on, I'm glad to be back. Look forward to more videos. There won't be this big of a break, hopefully, ever again, unless my laptop crashes, which my new one better not, because it was not cheap. It was not cheap. To kick things off, I'm gonna do my April wrap-up because I read some books while I was gone. Yeah, I still continued to read because that's a thing. Okay, let's get started. The first book I read in April was Lost and Found by Alan Dean Foster. This book was okay. Like it was just okay. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars, but it made me laugh, and here's why. It is about a guy who gets abducted by aliens and is held captive on this ship with a bunch of other aliens from different planets, species, whatever races you want to call it, I don't know. And they're all being auctioned off to be sold. Well, he is abducted from Earth along with a dog, and this dog can talk. And that's kind of his companion throughout this book. And the dog really made this book. The dog was the highlight of this book, and I loved it, and it was hilarious, and I really enjoyed it, but at the same time, it could have been better. It wasn't the greatest writing, but I really enjoyed it because of the dog, and yeah, I really liked it. After that, I read The Good Sister by Wendy Staub, and this book is a thriller. It is a good horror thriller book that I very much so enjoyed, and I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. It would have got a 5 stars, except that I felt the ending could have been better. It could have been better, and I really wish the author would have came up with a better plot twist because it was so good and it was growing, and my expectations were just so up there because I loved it, and then the ending, it was just not on par with the writing thus far to the end of the book, and I liked it. It was really good. I would read it again, but I just wish it was different. I would say that this book is sort of a cross between Scream and Carrie, if that makes sense, but I really liked it, and if you like horror and thriller, you read this, just do it. After that, I read Sand Dollar Summer by Kimberly J. Jones, and you know, once in a while I really love to read contemporary books because they just really get me in the heart. You know, they hit me right in the heart. And this book hit me in the heart so bad. It's such a short book. It's about this mom who gets hurt, and so she takes her and her kids and they move to this beachside town where she grew up, and she is trying to get better, and her daughter is just growing up and doing a lot of things, and it's not a very complex book. It doesn't have a huge story, but just the simplicity of it and the writing, I really like the writing, and just the fit. I really like the connection between the characters. I think that is what made me love it the most, and just, I really like it, and I give it 5 out of 5 stars, and you should read it if you like contemporary. It's so good. It's so good. After that, I read Hold Me Closer, Necromancer by Lisa McBride, and I originally bought this book because what it says on the cover is that it's a funny scary book, so it's a funny scary book, and I don't read a lot of funny books. I enjoy them when I do finally get to read them, but this book really held up its end of the deal that it was a funny scary book. It wasn't so much scary. I mean, it had its, you know, just scary scenes and whatnot, but it was so funny, and I really loved it. And it reminded me of, like, it's weird to say like the Mortal Instruments, sort of, because it's kind of like nothing like that, but I mean a lot of like the creatures and the world ish reminded me of that somewhat, but it was really good. And I love that it was from a dude's perspective, which is really cool. And he was hilarious. His friends are hilarious. The whole book is really good. I want to read the second one, like right now. I don't have the second one, so I can't do that. But I plan to get it. And you should read it because it's so good. And the last book I read in April was just a really good book, and that would be Stardust by Neil Gaiman. Now, the only book I ever read of Neil Gaiman up till this point was Coraline, and I read that in elementary school. I was so young, and I loved that book, and I didn't know who Neil Gaiman was then. I just read this random book by this author because I thought the cover looked cool, but you know, I've been hearing a lot of things about Neil Gaiman, so I wanted to read more books by him, and I picked this one up not too long ago, and it did not disappoint. I had previously watched the movie years ago, and I love the movie, but the book is just really good as well. It's one of those things where I really, really love the book, but then I really, really love the movie, and they're kind of different, but they're not completely different, so I kind of want to separate them in my mind because I love them equally both, and I can't really decide which one I love better, you know, I don't know. But yeah, really love this. If you haven't read Stardust, read it because it's good and I liked it. Those are all the books I've read in May. I've read like 3 books in March so far. I'm not going to tell you those books because you gotta wait for my March wrap up, which will be at the end of the month. Look forward to that. Hopefully it won't be so late. But yeah, no, I miss making videos. I'm happy I get to upload again. So I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!